Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk, and this time we're going to be doing a Shep Talk TV review. Before we get into that review, a couple admin notes. First, as always, if you like what you see here, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It does help my channel out greatly, and I truly appreciate it. And the second part, one of the reasons why I'm doing this TV review is probably going to be TV week, where Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I will be doing a review of a TV show, is because I've upgraded my media server and it is taking me a little bit longer to transfer the stuff. So I bought a NAS Synology 1019 Plus, a 5-bay network access storage, and I've bought 10 terabyte drives, and the Synology, easy peasy. Put the drives in, plugged it into the network, connected it to the network, came online, easy setup. Can't rave about it more. My old server is causing me issues. It is probably on its last leg. I've actually started upgrading stuff. Once I get my files transferred, and the process is becoming a pain in the butt because it just doesn't want to. It wants to shut off like every other minute. So once I get my files transferred, I do actually have a new computer that will help the NAS. The NAS is going to run Plex only, and everything else that I need on the back end of my server. I've bought another computer that's pretty much a refurbished computer that's just meant for business stuff, and it's not going to be anything else. There's not going to be movies playing on it. Movies not going to be stored on it. Nothing. So that's why this week Monday, Wednesday, Friday will be doing. It's pretty much 3 Netflix shows because I watched 3 Netflix shows last week, and I thought I'd talk to you guys about them and provide you guys content. So here we go. This review is going to be on the Netflix show Outer Banks. Outer Banks was created by Shannon Burke, Josh Pate, and Jonas Pate. Oh, God. Can't wait for my other video where it shows that I'm starting to upgrade my studio, and this will be a whole lot easier. Outer Banks also stars Chris Stokes, Madeline Klein, Madison Bailey, Jonathan Davies, and Rudy Pankow. Quick synopsis. A group of teenagers stumble upon a sunken ship after a hurricane that may lead to the location of long-lost treasure. Okay, guys, as I stated before, I had some technical difficulties with my media server. I'm in the process of upgrading it over to the NAS. I might have to buy another top. So I decided to turn to Netflix and see what they had. And seeing the trailer for Outer Banks, it kind of intrigued me. It seemed like it had a good premise, and so figured let's give it a shot and see where it goes. I will say this is another Netflix show that's focusing on the teen drama stuff, but I have to say I think this is one of the better Netflix teenage drama shows out there. It didn't really dumb down anything. It seemed to keep its focus. Yeah, don't get me wrong, there was flaws in it and stuff that made you question some things, but overall I thought it kept it grounded. It didn't really dumb things down. It, to me, felt like what a normal day-to-day could have been. Not day-to-day, because there's really stuff in there that I didn't believe it. I'm starting to ramble. But I think it was really well focused and really well done. So for Outer Banks, we follow John P. and his group of friends who are pretty much the locals, the ones that work the island when the tourists come down, and of course when the rich come to summer. They're the ones that are going to be there. They're the lifeblood. They're the people that really help make this community work. John B. had lost his dad. Can't remember if they tell us how long ago John B.'s dad has disappeared, presumed dead. But his dad was one of the ones that was trying to find this lost treasure of the Outer Banks when he suddenly disappears. John B.'s uncle is now his legal guardian, though for the series, we'd never see John B's uncle. Maybe if this goes into season 2, we'll actually see. It's hinted at that his uncle is in, I think, Louisiana doing construction work or something like that. But he's nowhere to be seen in season 1. And that causes an issue for John B with child services, because John B is pretty much living out of his dad's house, uncle's house, whoever's house it is now, with his friends most of the time, with no parental guidance. So there's a little give and take with the sheriffs and child services and John B, because he's pretty much living on his own and he's not emancipated. So very interesting. So to set things off for Outer Banks, at the very beginning of the show, the first episode, Outer Banks is about to get hit by this big hurricane. And so John B and his friends and even the whole island are pretty much batting down the hatches. They're tying down everything they can to survive the hurricane that sweeps through. And so the next day when the hurricane passes and John B and his crew go out, they're just running around in their boat. They hit a sunken boat, a boat that went down, that was out during the hurricane for some reason. And of course, kids being kids, they want to go down there and figure out why this boat has been sunk, what it was doing out and whatnot, and stumble upon maybe the start of a treasure hunt and trying to figure out the long lost treasure of the Outer Banks. While we do follow John B's crew for the majority of this season, we do get introduced to Sarah Cameron, who is part of the rich kids crowd. Her father's family is, I think, were around even during the founding of this community and hold a prominent place in this community. Pretty much, they can get away with murder if they really wanted to. And John B, as a job, worked on Sarah's family's yacht, because that's what that thing is not a boat. And it causes animosity. Sarah is like John B's crush, but Sarah's also already dating one of the other rich kids in the area, and he isn't happy with the attention that Sarah is throwing at John B. And so, of course, there's that divide between the local kids and the rich kids. And, of course, things come to a clash because, that's how things are in these types of shows, right? You can't just have it be a straightforward treasure hunt. No, there's going to be other drama because, in real lives, there's multiple things. It's not just one plot going through. There's multiple plots, and that's even in this TV show, there's multiple things going on. Each person has their own drama, their own stuff going on, and that kind of even affects the group dynamics in this TV show. It's not just all focused on the treasure hunt. That's the overarching storyline, is that treasure hunt. But I think what helps with this TV show is that we do get these layered storylines, and that it is, since it's only 8 episodes or 10? I think it was 10 episodes for this one. There's not a lot of filler episodes. There's a lot of meaty storyline progression in this TV show. Overall, like I said, there wasn't a lot of bloat in these episodes. There's 10 episodes. It kept me engaged. It did seem grounded. There are some stuff that we'll probably get into a little bit later that just nagged at me a little bit. But, overall, for 10 episodes, this isn't one of those, it's not like one of the networks where it's 23 episodes for a season. It's down to 10. There's not a lot of filler that you can put into 10 episodes. And so for the majority of them, I was engaged. I didn't feel bored. I didn't want to go play a video game. I thought it was really well balanced. And let's get into some of the stuff that nagged at me that I didn't really like a lot. Is that John B and his crew are pretty much teenagers. They're high schoolers. But for the majority of this show, we already know John B's dad and uncle. His dad is presumed dead. His uncle is nowhere to be seen. But the rest of his friends do have family, either a mother or father or both, on the island. But these kids seem to be able to come and go as they please, with parents showing up sporadically throughout the season or the series, raising questions, maybe even being angry with the kids, but then nothing else goes forward. There doesn't seem to be any consequences when these kids don't come home at night or even for days. So that was one of the things that kind of just nagged at me. I'm like, really? I know if I didn't show up to my house for 2 days, my parents would have smacked the hell out of me. Much less, instead of just being like, you're grounded, or where have you been? I've been worried about you. It's just one of the things that made me go, And another thing that really just had me go, is that this series seems to feel like that it's taking place in present day. But the simple fact that cell phones don't seem to be prolific in this area at all, or if they are, they're not really used. Like I mentioned before, the parents rarely show up in this place, but you don't really even see them calling or texting their kids to find out where they're at. And I get it, a hurricane just swept through. Maybe it hit all the cell phone towers and there's no service whatsoever on the island, so the cell phones are just off and no one's really caring. But it just is one of those things where I'm like, if the rich on the island have power or whatnot, then I feel like the cell phone tower, at least in that part of the area, would work. So I don't know. That was just one of the things that just niggled at the back of my mind. I was like, nibbled at the back of my mind. That it's just like, no. Why aren't parents calling these kids? Why aren't they pulling them home? I don't know. Maybe I just didn't see it, but that's one of the things that kind of stood out with me when I was thinking back on this show. And I think the last kind of drawback or negative thing I'd say about this TV show is that, again, it is a 10-episode series and the cast is big. John B. and his crew have at least 4 or 5 characters, and then not even talking about the side characters that we see in this show as well. So some of the offset characters, the growth and development are not there. Like Sarah's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever, he is pretty much the standard, I'm a rich kid, you're a poor kid, you don't deserve someone like Sarah, I want to beat you up every time I see you, I get angry, etc. That's all right. It's a stereotypical character, right? I would love to have seen more developed from him. Even like Sarah's brother, he has a storyline and in this series as well, and it actually affects the main plot of the storyline, and it's just like, okay, that's great, but you didn't really build up to this. This kid just seemed like, a throwaway character, and now all of a sudden he's doing all this other stuff. So, I don't know. That's one of the things that just bothered me, is that character growth and development wasn't all there for everybody, and I get it. It's tough. The cast is big on this show. You only have 10 episodes. You can't really devote time to filling in the backstory for some of these characters. It's just one of the things that I'm going to point out when I see it. And I will say, towards the finale of this show, like the last 2 episodes, it had me engaged. It had me wondering how stuff was going to play out, how our protagonists were going to react, if they were going to get away, or were they going to survive, what was going to happen to everybody, because it really seemed well thought out, well planned, well executed. And as soon as episode 9 ended, I wanted to hit 10, because I was like, look, I got to figure out. And of course, because they want a season 2, they kind of leave you on a cliffhanger, and you're like, what's happened? What's going to happen to John B. and the crew? Are they going to find the gold? Are they, what's going on? So it's very few and far between that I get a show that gets me that engaged and that has left me that way, where I wanted to quickly go to season 2 to see what happened. When I first saw Outer Banks, especially the trailer, I thought this was just going to be a teenage show where we're going to see teenagers in bikinis and living the life of Outer Banks and seeing some like social experiments, because we'll have the locals, we'll have the tourists, we'll have the rich kids. But Outer Banks to me wasn't that. I thought it was pretty much really well done. There are some issues that I had with it, but overall, I think Shep Talk would give Outer Banks 4 out of 5 Sheps for this show. Now, guys, have you seen the Outer Banks? It's been out for about a week or two now. Let me know down in the comments down below. What did you think of it? But that's all I have for you today, guys. If you like what you see here, please remember to hit that subscribe button. It does help me greatly, and I truly appreciate it. And also, if you like this video, check out some of these videos over here. I'm sure there's going to be one in there that you will also like. But guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.